I've been asked to make a video about what I like and dislike about India, and I think it's about time. I think the first thing that people need to understand is the major difference, one of the major differences between a place like India and Western countries is there are a whole lot of people here. There is a huge population here in India, and that means that you have a lot of people living together, living on top of each other, and a lot of different beliefs, a lot of different kinds of religions and cultures and languages. I mean, all of these come together to create this just incredible melting pot, right? So the way that I like to think about it is that in India, everyone is sort of connected. There's this like connectingness between people, whereas in the West there are these divides between people. There are more distinct edges between people. And you'll see that even in families. A family in the U.S., you know, everyone comes home at the end of the day and they go to their respective rooms and get on their computers and Wi-Fi devices. Whereas in India, people come home and they stay together. In a lot of my experience, the family here is a different kind of sense. So what I like this about India. I like that family is so important, that there is this interconnectedness between people. What I don't like is how there's such interconnectedness between people to the point of apathy. Like, people don't really care about one another. In that regard, service here, like in restaurants, is awful. It's abysmal. The worst service in my entire life I've received in India. And I just get this sense that people don't really care. Oh, your order's wrong? Whatever. You know, are you been waiting half an hour for fried eggs and they come out cold and runny? What's the problem? You know, that just happened. That really pissed me off. I hate how dirty this place is. If there's one thing I hate most about India, it's how absolutely dirty it is and how absolutely apathetic the people are about cleanliness. And yes, there is this whole Swachh Bharat campaign, and I'm actually very passionate about it. What I personally do to support the Swachh Bharat campaign, not only do I take responsibility for my own trash, but when I see someone throwing trash on the ground, hey, Swachh Bharat, and I point to the nearest dustbin, if there is dustbin. I actually think for the Swachh Bharat campaign, they need a dustbin campaign to first raise awareness about where do you put the trash and how do you change habits, you know. So, you know, I love, again, because there's so many people, because there's so much happening here, you know, you can eat really great food for really cheap. I ate my breakfast for $1, but that breakfast might cause an infection in my intestines, which I've had a couple times, which has been really difficult. But, so the food is plentiful and available and cheap, and it's often very delicious, but it's also like playing Russian roulette with your gut if you're not sensitized to it. And you absolutely cannot drink the water. What else? I love how you can always get someone to help you. You can always get someone to help you with this. Oh, can you help me go get this? Can you do this for me? Can you help me with this? Like, people always want to help. It's funny, there's like, simultaneously there's this like apathy between people, but then once you do get to know people, they care for you so much, and they'll go to extreme lengths to help you. So I hate how dirty it is. I hate how apathetic people can be towards one another, how they just don't care. Oh yeah, and with the Swachh Bharat thing, sometimes I'll call people out on, hey, you just dropped your trash, and they're like, oh, it's India. Like, you know, they seem to be okay with the fact that it's dirty and not taking responsibility for their habits. I think that's what pisses me off about a lot of Indians, is they just like, it's just the way it is, and I don't know. So maybe that's too long. I love India. There's so many things I love about this place. You know, it's such a rich learning place. You know, you can learn a lot about yourself, about humanity, about so much here. You know, and it's very real. I think in the U.S. often life can be a little bit robotic, and there's a really big difference there. So, you know, do I want to spend the rest of my life in India? No, I don't think so. You know, do I want to go back to the U.S.? Yes, I do. I really miss a lot of the comforts that I have there, and I love how clean it is, and you can eat without getting sick every time. But, you know, at the same time, I mean, it's just the richness of the human experience, and there are good things about it, there are bad things about it. You know, I think India fully embraces the duality of existence. You don't just get the good, you don't just get the beautiful, you get the bad, you get the awful, you get the tragic, you know, and I think that's why it's so impactful and it's so intense, because of all those things. So, oh, one thing I really don't like about India are all the people who just want to argue like Hindu nationalists who just want to argue about stuff, like, don't. And if you're one of those people and you want to argue with me about India after seeing this video, don't. Like, that's the fastest way for me never to want to talk to you and just block you. So just don't waste your time. All right, this is too long. Over and out. Oh yeah, and just getting sick here all the time. Oh, I said that. The dirtiness. That's the big thing. Swachh Bharat, man. If there's one thing I'd like to see different about India in the coming years, let's clean the place up. Get Indians to take responsibility for their everyday habits. It's not about pushing one big cleaning campaign. It's about every day not throwing your trash on the ground, calling out people who throw out their trash on the ground, teaching children not to throw their trash on the ground. That's really important too. I'm always saying, catching children doing it, and I'm the one saying it, not their parents, not anyone else. I'm the one saying, hey, Swachh Bharat, don't, they eat a wrapper and then eat a candy and then throw it on the ground, and nobody tells them otherwise. So I think India and the rest of the world, we just need to all take more responsibility for our own habits and our own day-to-day choices and how that has an impact on the bigger picture. So, all right, this is too long. Peace. This is the main bazaar of Paragon. Oh, and the beeping. I hate all the beeping. They beep too much. In America, you beep to be like, get out of my way. But here, people beep to be like, hey, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. And I wish they wouldn't, because it's really, really, really annoying and unnecessary. Oh, and I love the hawks. That's one thing. I love the hawks, the eagles that fly in the sky. I don't know if you can see any. That's one of my favorite things here. And the animals, the cows and the dogs. I love that there are dogs everywhere and they're free and they're coexisting. And sure, they get beaten, they get abused a lot, but they're still free. So I guess maybe that's the question. Is it better to suffer and be free and have or have security and not suffer in that regard? Or there's always suffering. Life is suffering, especially in India, that's for sure. But the suffering expands your heart. I think that's what I've learned, or I'm learning through my own suffering. It's all for learning. This is how we learn.